There it is. Happy Friday, everybody. Thank you all, as always, for tuning into the Insurance Bro Show. We have an awesome one lined up for every single one of you today. But before we dive in, all of you insurance pros, remember to please subscribe on whichever platform it is that you're listening to us on. Give us a like, give us a follow, subscribe, and drop a review, and help all those other like-minded insurance agents find value from our awesome guests as we rise up in those podcast rankings. I will really appreciate every single one of you for it. And if you want to be a guest on the show, I would love to have you on and learn from you too. Go to www.insurancebroshow.com/guest and schedule your time slot. And don't forget to follow me on all social media at Insurance Bro Show. All right, we're super honored, super excited to bring another incredible guest to the Insurance Bro Show. With 13 years of experience in the commercial insurance industry, our guest today is not only incredibly self-motivated, he's a motivator of others. His background and knowledge in the commercial space provides our guest the ability to help his clients create customized insurance programs to fit the specific need of each business he works with. By examining business documents and analyzing financial standings, he's able to determine the level of risk for his clients and provide safety and loss control measures to make sure those losses stay minimal and premiums stay low. Our guest has used his extensive knowledge to be at the forefront of the next generation of insurance agents, spearheading an insuretech company that is disrupting the workers' compensation space and changing the game for all of us. I'm thrilled to bring to our audience the Vice President of Business Development at Foresight Commercial Insurance. Welcome to the show, Michael Bibeau.
The Insurance Bro Show is a podcast for agents who want to grow their agency and be titans of the insurance industry. Learn from a panel of experts who share their agency struggles, their experiences with the nation's best carriers, and share the marketing secrets that successful insurance agents are using today. Now, here's your host, the Insurance Bro, James Cias.
All right, Michael, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining us today. How are you doing?
Doing great, man. Thanks for having me. And what an intro. I think I want to hire you like in the mornings to wake me up. I'll pay you just to call me.
This is recorded. It's live. You can hit that play button every morning and just hear that, hype yourself up every day.
That's
and
awesome.
For what it's worth, all I did was find information about you. So this is all just you, the information that you have out there on the internet. I just put it all into a nice little, summary for you.
I appreciate that, man.
It's so great to have you on the show. We got a chance to chat a little bit, yesterday, I think it was, about the show and the way that things are going to go. And we had a chance to talk about Foresight Insurance. So tell me a little bit about yourself. Tell me a little bit about your history in the insurance space and what led you to get connected with Foresight.
Well, I've been working in insurance for about 13 years. And I currently am a certified insurance counselor with the National Alliance for Insurance Education and Research. I'm also working on my certified risk manager designation. But I've had a really good run in the insurance industry so far. I started with a more general liability focused insurance company named Philadelphia Insurance Companies, who specializes in certain niches like nonprofits and schools and churches. And from there, I left and went to a broker out in Corona, California, and brokered business for about just a little over a year. When I was there, an opportunity came up at Fireman's Fund Insurance Company. I had a friend that left the company, put my name in the hat as a referral, came over to Fireman's Fund, and Fireman's Fund had been owned by Allianz. So it was a Fireman's Fund company, a company of Allianz when I joined, and the board decided to go with one brand in the United States and transition Fireman's Fund into Allianz. So I was a part of that. And throughout all those experiences, I've just learned a ton. I feel like got a couple master's degree in insurance because when I was with Philadelphia, they got bought by Tokyo Fire Marine. And so I got to be a part of, a merger acquisition, if you will. It was actually like the largest acquisition from Japan to a North American company in history. So
wow.
I got to learn a
In
lot.
all industries or specifically for the
I, I,
insurance industry?
I think all industries. Great
Wow.
question, but you can look up some of the articles, like, back when that happened, and it was just like a historical thing. And I mean, I could never have planned going to work for this insurance company and then being acquired and going through that transition and sort of helping them land the plane from being Philadelphia, who's like an independent family-owned company that went public and then got purchased by a Japanese company. And so you just learn a ton. I mean, you get to see everything happen. You see the changes, you see the leadership changes, you see whatever. And I mean, you can't learn that in school, right? And so
Yeah.
from there, I knew that there was more I needed to learn. I knew I needed to learn workers' compensation, which they don't write at Philadelphia. I knew I needed to learn like manufacturing companies, and there was just exposures I wasn't being exposed to, for lack of a better word. So, I needed to learn, and I decided to go be a broker. One of the brokers I had appointed at Philly brought me on board, and I learned how to broker business directly to the clients and had a good run at that, had a lot of fun. Fireman's Fund came along and made me a really great offer. And, I had like life changes going on. I just found out my wife was pregnant. We wanted to buy a house. There were certain things going on, and it was just a great opportunity. So I took the opportunity. And then at Fireman's Fund, learned a ton about program insurance. And that's really, when you say what led me here, I started to fall in love with the program side of the business, like the MGA, MGU side, and had some success. I working with a couple programs at Allianz and took them from zero premium, just prospecting type calls, running them through with actuarials, running them through with the underwriting team, building out a product, building a program, and then watching the premium go from zero to $12 million in a year and a half, or whatever the case was.
Wow.
So it was kind of like, wow, this is something, this is a lot funner for me than just calling on one manufacturing client, getting the submission in the door, getting the underwriting to have the quote out, and then following up with it. Like, I like to do these bulk programs, like almost like shopping in bulk, where I could write 100 of these policies in a month instead of one or two. That's funny, Smokey. Oh my gosh. So I just fell in love with that side of it. And then I wanted to transition to the MGA, MGU side. This came up on LinkedIn, of all places. It was obviously LinkedIn is like probably the best tool or the best site for something like this. It popped up, and
for us as
it was
insurance
like
agents in general.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm getting a ton of business from LinkedIn right now. And I kind of live on LinkedIn. I'm not really on a lot of the other social platforms very often. But that was it. They had like the easy apply button on there. I think it was 11 o'clock on a Friday night. Press the easy apply button. Monday, they reached out. By Friday, I was interviewing with their CEO, who's now my boss, David Fontaine. And the rest is history. But, I'm glad I made the move. It's probably been the best thing that I've done in my career so far, is coming over to an insuretech startup. And I mean, I'm so blessed. I have like the team that I work with is amazing. Like, everyone here is so smart. They're all smarter than me. So it's so good every day. Yeah, I get to come in and be challenged every day by my work, and and learn. But also I get to like bring all these 13 years and all these different experiences of being part of Philly when they became Tokyo Fire Marine, going to broker business, so I can relate and empathize with my brokers with what they're going through. It's a blood sport out there if you're a broker.
Yeah.
And then also working for like the largest insurance company in the world, and I was actually, while I was there, I got to be kind of mentored and trained through their navigators program. So I got to see, how leadership thinks, and see like how to build a culture from the biggest company in the world. And now I get to apply that. And right now we're a team of 8, right? So I come from 150,000 employees to a company with 8 employees.
Wow.
And, it's a big change, but I'm having the time of my life. I wouldn't trade it for anything at this point.
It just, I can't, I got to admit that I just love being on the ground floor of things. Like there's this great satisfaction knowing that you're really building something. Like when you're part of an organization that's 150,000 employees, you don't necessarily feel like you're building something there.
Yes.
Maybe you did a bit when you were developing programs and working with the MGAs and MGUs and all that. There was probably some sense of that. But man,
Yes.
there's nothing like building a full-on business like you guys are over there at Foresight right now.
Yes.
I'm curious about what Foresight has going on. What are some things that you guys are disrupting the workers' comp space? Tell me a little bit about that. What are you guys doing that's disruptive? What's going on? What's changing?
Well, it's a great question. And yes, that's the goal. The goal is to disrupt the workers' comp industry. And we're doing that through technology. You know, much like you, I mean, I see how technologically driven you are just in the week that we've been communicating. But everything that we do here is connected, right? So our systems communicate with each other. They talk to each other. We're saving data as it comes in. Like all the smart things that companies should be doing with data, we're doing it. But in addition to that, we have a technology risk management platform, and that's the cutting edge for us. That's really the value proposition behind our workers' comp. When you say, what are we doing to disrupt? We are giving our insureds and giving our clients and the brokers, because this is a tool for the broker as well, but we're giving them something that's not really in the marketplace, and we have a proprietary relationship to the program. So it's our sister company named SafeSight, and SafeSight is, oh, great. Yeah. So SafeSight is bundled with every workers' comp policy that we sell. And we have some like exclusive access when you log in through, if you purchase insurance through Foresight, it gives the brokers certain benefits. It also gives the client benefits by giving them lower costs for insurance. But ultimately, our goal is to drive down their XMOD, right? To help them reduce frequency, which ultimately is going to reduce their severity. And that's what we're doing. We're fast. I mean, really, when you disrupt something, you got to come out with something that's great. And we have that. We have a great product, and we're fast. And the brokers are like blown away by it. I'm blown away by it, honestly. You know, yeah, our quotes go out in a couple of days. So right now we have 2-day turnarounds for quote. And, you know, for commercial insurance, listen, when I first came on, you know, Fireman's Fund, when I first came on, it was averaging us 30 days to do a proposal. Back in those days, you know, 8 years ago, it would take us 30 days on average to get a proposal out the door. Here, we're 2 days. And in the future, hopefully by the end of next year, we'll have like an instant rating tool, like an instant quote almost, where it's not gonna, you know, it still might require some underwriting, and it still might require sign-offs and binding conditions to be approved and certain things to be done. But our goal is to be like instant. You know, that's where we're headed.
Yeah, well, I'm curious about how all of that works. Definitely, but before we get into that, you mentioned the technology risk management platform, and I'm guessing that technology, that risk management, that's what you're using to help businesses keep their XMODs down. Can you tell me a little bit about that risk management platform? Tell me a little bit about how risk management, I mean, obviously it's super important in insurance, right? But can you kind of break it down? What are the specific things that we're looking at in the platform, and how is it, you know, how are we using technology to attack those specific pain points?
Absolutely. So there's a lot of things you could do in the site, in SafeSight. But some of the like the bullet points, if you will, or the highlights are, you can manage a safety meeting. So we have like templates per industry for safety meetings. You can log, like you can inspect your equipment and then log that you inspected your equipment. So it's an accountability tool, very easy to use. One of the great things that I really think is awesome about it is that you can, let's say there's an incident, someone gets injured or ill on the work site, and you need to report that. And right in California, we have Cal OSHA. So you have to report that within 24 hours. In the site, you can use your phone. So let's say you injured your hand at work. You can take the phone, like a manager or even the individual could take the phone, log into SafeSight, take a photograph of an injury, type out a narrative, and instantly be compliant with Cal OSHA, which is a very big deal. You know, you don't want to, basically, if you're not compliant with OSHA, you're going to get fines. Right. You know, they're going to ding your business, so to speak, and it's not a good thing. So in addition to like tracking all the safety things that a company needs to do, they can also log their OSHA logs in real time and not have to go back to the office, sit down, type out the report. They do it in the field automatically. But those are just a few of the things. And for the listening audience, I would definitely recommend they go to safesightHQ.com. That's our partner. Take a look, and it's way more robust than what I just gave you, right? So you can build a safety plan that's very simple with 3 or 4 things, or you could build a safety plan that has 30 to 50 things, and you can customize it or tailor make it to your business, basically.
That is fantastic. You know, one of the questions that's always asked in every application is, do you have a safety manual? And it sounds like SafeSite HQ is helping our customers, helping your customers to create the manual and have
Yes.
those check-in points, those safety meetings, the equipment logs. One of the things that you mentioned was if there's an incident, if somebody gets injured or ill, right? The ill is the part that I'm thinking about, because we're in the middle of a pandemic, right?
COVID,
And
yeah.
yeah, SB, what was it? SB 1159 that just came out, requiring employers to report an employee that's tested positive for COVID. How have things changed? How are we using technology to attack the pandemic and the COVID situation?
Yeah, to your point, there's a whole section on how to be COVID compliant, right? And so, yeah, that's all in the app, and it's a whole new world this year, right? I mean, who would have ever thought? But
It's crazy for sure.
you can log, like to your point, you can log everything in the system. If someone did
Mhm.
test positive for COVID, then they can keep track of that. They could report that to OSHA, and there would be like templates of how to deal with the situation. So yeah, I mean, it's never been more important than this year, right? And I think COVID kind of woke everyone up to like, whoa, risk management is a big deal. And when
Right?
my broker comes and talks to me about what am I doing for risk management, maybe I need to have a better answer than I don't know, or we don't do much or whatever. So
Well,
now the companies are like way more open to risk management.
yeah, and I think it actually falls on the broker now
Yeah.
to be more proactive when it comes to the loss retention, to the risk management, to provide that education. Can you tell me a little bit about what are some standard things, like if I'm a broker, I'm a new broker in the commercial space, my experience is all with small businesses. I've written a couple of bops here and there, but never anything really over, I don't know, like 10 or 15 grand in premium, right? Like
Sure.
I've been on the small commercial side this whole time. So risk management to me hasn't been uh, a significant part of my like standard operating procedures, right? So what are
Sure.
some basic things that, as a new agent, as someone who's
Mhm.
barely, getting into the commercial space, what are some things that I should be constantly asking my insureds or providing to my insureds as far as risk management goes?
Yeah, I mean, it really could be simple things. I think the most important thing from my perspective is having like a culture of safety. So
Mhm.
how do you build into that company like a safety culture, right? Because a lot of the things that I think are important are common sense type stuff that sometimes in the hustle and bustle of an activity or of a job, you kind of forget some of the common sense things, like just
Mhm.
something as simple as protecting your eyes if you're cutting something or if you're
Mhm.
underneath something, having safety goggles on. Or I mean, it's just the little stuff. Well, I used to work for a hotel, so when I first got into working out of high school, I started working with the Ritz-Carlton Hotel, and things like putting cones out when you don't want cars to park in a certain spot, putting mirrors around a corner in the parking lot so you don't have accidents in the garage, and everything from that to how the staff flips a bed when they're changing the bed. Are they going to be throwing out their back because they're lifting improperly, or they're lifting these heavy things in an awkward posture? So I think really for me the most, and I'm actually working on my certified risk management
Mhm.
designation right now. And what I'm learning through all of it, like the thing that it keeps coming back to is building a culture of safety. That's really what it is. And then just doing the things to protect the people, right? Just how do you protect someone's back? How do you
Hmm.
protect someone's neck if they're staring at a computer all day, and if they're sitting at a desk all day, how do you make sure they're ergonomic and they're not blowing out their backs from hunching over for eight
Right.
to 10 hours a day? So there's so many things. But I think, if I were to bring it all back to the Safe Side app, it's a lot of it's like having safety meetings, inspecting the equipment, things like that. Just making sure that you're complying with OSHA, that you're aware of the new like laws and the new trends. And, there's always new exposures popping up, whether it's new technologies create new exposures,
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah.
economic hardship creates exposures, right? Stress,
Pandemics.
pandemic creates exposures. Having an
Yeah.
employee base that's not happy, if they're stressed out, that creates
Yep.
exposures.
Mental
Civil
health issues.
unrest, mental health. I mean, there's so many things.
Yeah.
I
No,
hope
this
that
is
I hope that answered your question, because I kind of
absolutely.
went on a little
Absolutely.
there, but
When it comes down to it, there's so many things that, as brokers, sometimes we don't think about. We're brand new into the business, and we want to sell policies. So we get
mhm.
the information from our customers, we fill out the applications, and here's the premium. Do you want to buy it? Yes or no? Yes. All right, awesome. We'll talk to you again soon.
Hopefully you
But
never have to use it, right?
right,
Exactly.
exactly. But thinking of it from a risk management perspective, if we want to really bring value to our customers, like that's something that we need to think about ourselves. As insurance agents, we need to get ourselves into the mindset of thinking about liability risk, about risk,
Mhm.
period. Right.
Yeah,
And so risk management is obviously such a big piece of that, to provide that education to our customers and say, hey, look, you have this big deep fat fryer over here in this restaurant. What
yeah,
safety procedures do you have around that? What training do you provide to your employees? Things like tips for anybody who's serving alcohol.
yeah. You
Any
just
of the
you just really hit on an industry that is very pertinent to what you're talking about, because there's a lot of small business restaurants, right? Of course,
yeah.
you have your chains like a corner bakery or someone, but a lot of restaurants are like small, locally owned
Hmm.
restaurants, and there are a ton of exposures in a restaurant, from
Yeah.
slip, trip, and falls for the guest, right? If there's water on the floor, I mean, fires in the kitchen for the workers and the employees. How many sharp knives are in the kitchen, right? And how many
Yep.
times are people rushing through the kitchen with a hot plate of food to get to their table? So you just touched on it. I mean, even though a lot of agents are selling small business accounts, they still need to have that risk management behind it, or that safety awareness
The
to come.
culture of safety.
Yeah, this culture of safety. And then when you call your clients, you can make small recommendations that might really change how they run their business, right? They might think, I didn't
Mhm.
think about that. This is a fire hazard. Maybe we need to change something. Or this is a slip, trip, and fall hazard. We need to change something. And that's really, I think, like, that's the value we all add as brokers, carrier reps, whatever we are. Like, how do we make the world a safer place, right? That's really what we're trying to do at Foresight. And, I think we're doing a really good job. And I'm excited to be on your podcast, by the way. And also, I'm excited to be working with you, because I definitely want to give you the appointment for your producer who likes agriculture business. That's
Yeah. I
something that,
wanted to get into that. Tell me a little bit more, in our final few minutes here. Tell me a little bit more about Foresight. What are your market appetites, and how easy to get the appointment? Tell me about Foresight.
sure. Yeah, we have four main verticals, for a lack of a better word. That's kind of a buzzword, is a vertical. But industries, whatever you want to call it. We like construction, manufacturing, logistics, and agriculture. So that's the appetite, if you will, the sweet spot, if you will. As far as getting an appointment, I mean, I'm coming from Allianz. I have a lot of relationships with national brokers. I'm hearing from them really quickly, and I'm reaching out to them really quickly. But I'm also looking for specialists, and I'm looking for
Mhm.
someone who is a niche type of a person. And I listened to your podcast with your broker. That's his niche, right?
Yeah.
He identified that, and He decided to go after agriculture 100%. That's the type of specialist I'm looking for when I'm looking to give an appointment outside of, let's say, the national brokers of the world, like USI, Alliant, Marsh & McLennan. I'm working with like Locked In and a lot of those larger houses. But when it comes to like a smaller broker, if they're specializing in logistics or if they're specializing in construction, then I'm open to a conversation, and I'm certainly willing to go down that appointment road with them as long as it makes sense. Broker Brett, our mutual friend,
Uh-huh.
gave me a lead on someone who works with an association of arborists. So
Oh, nice.
that's in our appetite. We like that type of business. So I'm going to give him the appointment, and he's got a book of arborist business. So that's kind
Does
of the
that fall into the
distribution.
construction or
I think
arborist,
that's more of landscaping, I guess. I guess you would
landscaping,
put that under landscaping. Yeah.
contractors? Man, it's all kind of
Contracting, landscapers, all the same. But the
yeah.
class codes are good for us. And
Awesome.
yeah.
So on the logistics, I might have a referral for you too. I'm thinking of the Amazon vans that we see all over the place,
Oh, yeah.
and Amazon went out of their way to provide funding for people to start those businesses, so
Wow,
that
yeah, I heard that.
all of these different vans, they're all owned by different people, or fleets are owned by different people. Is that the kind of stuff that you guys are looking at?
Yeah, that I think that's like perfect, right? That is the logistics we're looking for. The Amazon type delivery. We have an appetite for up to about 250 miles radius at this point.
Nice.
So yeah, if you have a lead, send them over.
Absolutely, absolutely. What are some things that you guys are struggling with right now? Where are the pain points for Foresight right now?
Well, we're a new company, so there's a lot of hard work going on to get this company national, so that is a massive undertaking. But other than that, I mean, we're growing every single day. So of course we're going to have like growing pains, but it's all fun stuff. Like, the saying, like, the problem is the opportunity, right?
Yes.
And it's like a stoic philosophy that you kind of want to run towards problems, because that's where your opportunities are at. So I think, we haven't had like major struggles or problems. It's been really smooth since I've come on board, but this is years of developing from the leaders that I work under. So they've invested, massive amounts of time and energy, and I mean, this is not something that just started overnight. This is, 6 years behind the company. The founders have been building this for 6 years, so I just got lucky to come. I came in right when they were ready to launch, and awesome. It's a lot of fun, but there's things every day that pop up, and, we put out small fires every day. But it's going really smooth.
I love it.
A lot of potential for aggressive expansion.
I love that.
That's awesome.
We got good movie clips, right?
Yes, you do.
So you have had an incredible career. You've gone to a bunch of different places. You've seen mergers, huge mergers. You've built programs. You've done all of these different things, and now you're spearheading this insuretech company. So you've learned so much. What are some of the best resources that you've found? Some best books, best podcasts, best mentors that you've worked with that has helped you get to where you're at?
Oh man, there's so many good people that I've been able to work next to or, learn from. I would say if you're going to be in insurance, I'm a firm believer in getting a designation, whether that be the CIC, which is what I have now, or a CPCU. I don't think I have the patience to do that because it's so underwriting driven, and I'm like really more a marketing type driven person. So I'll probably never do the CPCU, although I think it's extremely valuable. And I'm working on the CRM, which is like a good fit for what I'm doing now.
Yep.
As far as people, man, I've been blessed, man. I have a good dad. I have a good brother. I have like good friends who I grew up with, who their dads kind of helped me in life. Like I lived with a certain friend for a long time and got to learn from their family. And then my best friend's dad, I'm still in touch with to this day. And, he's watched me grow from a youth, running around kicking soccer balls and skateboards. So I think I've been really fortunate with podcasts. I'm a big fan of Ed Milet. I don't know if you've heard of Ed Milet. If you've never heard of Ed Milet, anyone listening to this that wants to be inspired in life in general, go listen to Ed Milet. Faith leaders like, pastors and things. I always take from everyone, whether it's the president of the United States at, any given time. I'm not going to endorse a certain person, but I love to follow who's leading. I like to learn from them, good or bad, right? There's lessons everywhere, right?
Hashtag learn from leaders.
Hashtag learn from leaders, and hashtag what is it? Win or learn, right? That's like the one, because you don't lose, right? I mean, even if you learn, you fail, and when you fail, I mean, that's when you learn the most, right? When you don't get the bind order on Friday afternoon, right? Today's the day 11/1 is Saturday, right?
Yes, sir.
Or Sunday. 11/1 Sunday. So today, all hands on deck. All the underwriters are calling our quotes. All week we worked on our 11/1. If I don't get the order, what did we learn from that, right? If I did get the order, great. What did we learn from that too? And we are getting some orders. So there, and we did probably lose a few as well. So I would just say, staying positive. And I've read some good books. I mean, there's a lot of good people, man. This show is motivating me. By the way, you are motivating me, and so is your Business Bros podcast. I've been listening to a couple of those shows this week too.
He ain't lying.
I'm inspired by anyone that's working hard to accomplish their goals and their dreams.
Awesome. Yeah, love it. Last thing that I want to do for you, if you could, for our listening audience and for everybody watching at home, how can people get in touch with you if they want to work with you and if they want to get appointed with Foresight?
I'm really active on LinkedIn, but most importantly, getforesight.com. Go there. My email address is michael@getforesight.com. I'm very active on LinkedIn, so I'm on there every day. My email, the website. Certainly, we're open to new appointments, especially with anyone specializing in what we do. That's the best. That's what I'm looking for.
And that's agriculture, manufacturing, construction, and logistics.
You nailed it.
Who do you think would be a great next guest for the show?
Good one. I have a friend who worked with me at Allianz. His name is Michael Sador, and he works for CanGen. That's like a cannabis MGU. You could definitely have him on here, or someone else from CanGen. I'd recommend them. But let me think about this and get back to you, and I'll definitely give you a few people.
Awesome. Yeah. And tag them when you have on, tag them in the comments of your show.
Yes. And you know what? We have a marketing person that gets Foresight named Hunter. I think he would be great for your Business Bros podcast too, because he's really great at the marketing aspect, and anyone at Get Foresight would be an interesting interview, as a matter of fact, but let's stay in touch.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Michael, for your time. I really appreciate it. For all of our viewers, listeners watching at home, thank you all so much. As always, please don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review the show. And if you want to be a guest, go to www.insurancebroshow.com/guest. And of course, don't forget to follow us on all of our social medias at Insurance Bro Show. Other than that, I got nothing else. Thank you all so much. I love you. You rock my socks. You have my heart.
Have a nice day. Thank you for tuning in to the Insurance Bro Show. James is the CEO of the Pipeline team of San Diego and is always in the market for top talent. If you're an agent looking for a place to hang your license, visit www.pipelineinsurance.com/agent opportunities or send an email to newagent@pipelineinsurance.com. Look for James